Good Sunday morning, friends and neighbors. Old Doc Martin here. And what a mess we've got on old Milo. Look at that mess. I think the front crank seal went out. So we are putting in she's about a gallon low on the T-Rex 2-ball solution. So we're going to top her off in sometime this summer. I guess we'll take the fan and the fan shroud and alternator and the AC pump off. See that? That stands for T-Rex 2-ball solution. And so yeah, we'll probably it's more a pain in the butt replacing that crank seal than it is actual hard work. Radiator hose, fan belt, and the alternator here, the AC pump. You don't have to unhook the hoses or anything. Take the bolts out, lay it back off to the side. Take the fan off, your shroud, pull the crank, the harmonic balancer off of the crank, and you can get to that crank seal easy enough. Pull it out, put in a new one. The 710 cap for the Chevy and Dodge owners. Just give you a little bit of, to be honest with you guys, I don't care what you drive as long as you're happy with it. Some of my friends have Chevys. Family has Dodges and Chevys. Whatever you like to get around in is fine with me. Same goes with tractors. I don't care if your tractor is red. I don't care if it's green. It doesn't make a bit of difference to me because it didn't cost me a dime. So run what you like, right? There's one guy, I think he's up in South Dakota or North Dakota, has a channel. At first I thought it was a pretty cool channel. He buys old Fords. He's in a farming community. He buys old Fords, gets them running, but the whole time he does it, he pisses balls and moans about Fords. Well, apparently he can't find any old Chevys to work on. They all went to scrap iron. And so it didn't take long of his crying and pissing and bawling for me to quit watching his channel, because he thinks every cowboy and farmer in his area just ruined everything. And it's funny because he lives in a small farming community, so I'm sure he's real popular with all of his neighbors. Before we go any further, we are going to have a word from our sponsor. Hey friends and neighbors, Doc Martin here. I hate to do this to you, Russ, old buddy. Russ Thomas, TN Farms. But we're going to have to undercut your prices. What we have here is do-it-yourself lumber kit. That's right, folks, do it yourself. You couldn't get a hold of old Doc here. He'll get you a handful of these babies right here, and you can raise your own lumber. Yep, supplies are going fast. The warehouse there is getting empty, and the squirrels over here are helping empty the warehouse. So with that said, we're going to get on into commercial. Get a hold of me if you want to start your own lumber business. Right here's the starter kit. Okay, and to prove that it works, right there is about a 7-year-old that came from one of these seeds out of that tree. That right there is about a 5-year-old that came from that tree. Okay, now, a few weeks ago I mentioned a friend of mine and we had an old hobby. It wasn't quite on this small of a scale, but here it is. Brother Dan didn't want to be on YouTube, so we just have very little footage of yesterday, but I'll show you a clip of what happened yesterday. Yesterday was a perfect day for flying. Now, when we were in this hobby, oh geez, well over 20 years ago, we were in the larger scale, much larger scale than what these are. And these are electric, where the other ones were nitro and olive oil powered gas airplanes. So I have the F4U Corsair. Brother Dan, he has the let me get the box back up here. He has the sorry, I'm showing you a lot of the dirt. Brother Dan has the P-51D Mustang, and there's the Corsair. Both of them were World War II, into World War II era planes, Korea, and a lot of them went to after the war. A lot of them went to like Argentina, other countries, and continued their service there. So I'm going to show, like I said, Brother Dan didn't want to be on YouTube, and that's his choice. I respect his wishes. Here are the wheels and the little screwdriver and screws and the charging pack. You charge the battery up via USB. There's the battery. Not much bigger than a postage stamp. 3.7 volt. Looks like 400 megahertz. 1.4 milliamp, I think it is. That's the battery. Now I'm going to try to get I'm going to try to cut in a short video clip of my last flight yesterday. I'll cut it in here.
I think the deal is get it up above the trees.
This one don't turn as sharp as yours, I don't think. Uh-oh. This ain't good. Ooh, that one broke.
Not made to hit trailers.
Okay, folks, we're back. Now, I'll show you the carnage. Try to, anyway. There's a bit of a breeze blowing. Who can see what's wrong with this picture? What happened was, as you could see in the video that I cut in, we were out here flying in a very limited area, and these small planes do not fly to scale speed. They honk right along, and you do make a lot of quick decisions. You get behind that maple tree, you lose track of your plane, and all you can do is go for altitude and start turning till you get a visual on it again, bring it back. And yeah, so what happened was, I was zooming around, and these Corsairs are nose heavy. Even the real ones, the authentic birds, they're nose heavy. If you hit the brakes hard on landing, you will nose them right over, and the prop will go right in the dirt. We didn't put the wheels on because we got a grass strip out here, and the propellers are designed to pop off and snap right back on. They snap right back on there. But what happened, and Penny couldn't, it happened so fast that Penny couldn't catch it. I lost my aileron control rod right there off this other side. I made a turn right up there, and I couldn't get any altitude, and the wing dipped down. I tried to turn, crashed right onto the trailer there. So it is fixable. There is another package of some spare parts. You get a couple of these little dudes that your prop snaps onto. Spare prop. Unfortunately, you do not get any spare control rods. This is the controller. You have a switch here. These have really changed since we flew the bigger planes in the last, well, it's been over 25 years ago. You have three settings. You have expert, medium, oh, I got that backward. There's expert. You can just honk it right along, do real tight loops, real tight turns, etc. Right here is intermediate, and this is an experience button, and this is beginner. Now on beginner, you cannot turn very tight, and your climb rate and descend rate is limited. If you get in trouble as far as flying, if you get in trouble, all you have to do, you know, this regulates your up and down, you're turning left and right, okay? If you're going toward the ground and you can't get it to climb or anything, theoretically, you let go of that button and the plane has a gyro in it. And theoretically, the plane will, if you don't lose a control rod, the plane will level itself and fly straight. Now, years ago, when we had the larger gas models, and I'll show you, I got a big Corsair down in the basement that I started to build out of balsa wood over 25 years ago. You didn't have that, you didn't have the gyro or the control button for safe and what have you. Now, if you have it in intermediate or beginner mode and you want to do a loop, you push this little button right here. You push that down and let it go. Your receiver will beep a few times, and then if you want to do a loop, you pull that back and your plane will do a loop. Okay, if you want to do a barrel roll, you push that button down, the receiver will beep a few times, and you go left or right. I know I went backward. Left or right, okay? And your plane will do a barrel roll. So, that is pretty much the extent. And I told you guys that if you wanted to see an old hobby that I used to really enjoy over 25 years ago, now you know. But like I said, it wasn't on this small of a scale. It was on a larger scale, and I'll show you how large. You know, sense in you looking clear over there. I'll show you how large of a scale I'm talking about. You can get these, the cheapest place that we found these, and yes, they're made in China. They're ready to fly, everything except there's 4 AA batteries that go in your remote here. The 4 AA batteries do not come with it, but everything else does. You put 4 AA batteries in it. If you want the wheels on, they give you a little screwdriver, and hopefully you can see where my finger is. I can't for the glare. There we go. Your wheels, you put your wheel down in there, put a screw in, and away you go if you want your wheels on. That's if you have asphalt. They got the rule book there in the back. We didn't read the rule book. Why would we? You know. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. You need a lot of space. If you got kids that are fairly coordinated, I'm saying maybe 12, 14 years old or older, in a wide open space, these planes are a lot of fun. The next time Dan and I go flying, we're going to go up to town, up to the soccer fields, and do our flying up there. You can just pile drive these. I don't mow my grass real real short, and I hit that tree on my first flight right there. Hit the branches of that tree, and the propped propellers, you know, they come off. And what I need to do on my propeller, see, it's just black. I need to paint some yellow or red on there so it's easier to see. Now on the Mustang, when the propeller falls off, see, it's got a red nose cone. It's real easy to spot. But maybe next time Brother Dan will let us get him in some video, and because we had a lot of fun. Like I said, 12 to 14-year-old, if you're fairly coordinated, you can fly this, go to a big open spot, bigger than what we have here. It looks like a long ways over there, but it's actually, it's not that far, maybe 50 feet. And like I said, these, you have to fly these pretty dang, they go pretty fast. Faster than you know, the real McCoy goes. So because they're so small, you have to have so much, if you understand aerodynamics, you have to go at a pretty good clip to get enough air over the top of your wings. The air going over the top of your wings creates the lift. So a big open place, and these will fly as far as you can see it. That's how far away. I forget how many meters away. There it says 14 plus. There's 14 years, you know, his age. There's the wingspan, weight, material. And they do have hobby stores, or you can get on the internet and get styrofoam glue. A lot of these planes nowadays, even the larger scale ones, are made out of styrofoam, not balsa. I mean, there's still balsa planes out there. And I'll show you my old Corsair that is only about half built. But yeah, look them up on YouTube. RC airplanes. And you'll see that they're all pretty much styrofoam nowadays. And they make us, you have to use a, they're fixable. You have to use a styrofoam glue. So I'm going to cut you off here because this is getting to be a really long video, and I don't like that. I'm going to cut you off here. Next thing I'll show you is my old balsa one in the basement. Okay, friends and neighbors, just to give you an idea, here is the blueprint to scale of the balsa version of the F4U Corsair. Okay, this is just the print for the wing section. Okay, here's the cowling. The engine comes through that hole, right? The engine mount plate goes behind the cowling. That goes as such. These are the oil coolers cut out and glue in. Landing gear. This plane does not have retractable landing. Motor mount. Decals. The extra parts and pieces that, now I built these. You glue this together. This isn't like your little model cars and what have you. This is the rudder. Does your turning left and right. This is a section of, well, actually, this is your elevator. You have two of these, one on each side of the tail for your up and down. Front section of the tail. So these actually hinge your elevator on each side like that for your up and down. Here's your rudder for turning left and right. Okay, these are the parts. I haven't had this box open for many years. All right, so like I said, decals. There's your dash for inside your cockpit. I'll show you back here in the corner. This is the storage / junk room. Almost everything in here needs to go right to the dump. Empty boxes, old toys, old clothes, garbage, old coolers. There in the corner, that is the fuselage, and I can't reach it for all the shit. All the wood next to it, that's just extra balsa wood. Here is the engine that I was going to put on this plane. That's the muffler. Now, like I said, these burn nitro and olive oil mixed for a lubricant, right? These propellers will take your fingers off. If this thing, you start it with your fingers, or what we call a chicken stick, a stick that you push the prop around, or you can get an electric starter that fits over the nose cone. It's just a rubber deal. Spins it over, fires it and runs it. This little screw tunes your carburetor. This up here is just like a spark plug. They call it a glow plug. In order to start these, and the only thing the nitro in the fuel is for is to ignite it for your startup. And your olive oil is a just a cylinder lubricant. Okay, you have a C-cell battery in a little thing, and it's spring loaded, clips down on top of that, and it's just almost like a cigarette lighter in your car. There's a little coil in there, gets red hot. You start turning the prop till she starts and runs, and then when it's running, you take your little C-cell battery off there and tune your carb. The throttle control is right here for your go fast or slow. Now I'll show you the wing, and then I got to put all this crap back. Okay, here's the wing section. That is, let me get my arms out here. I don't have the wing tips out here on the end, but that is probably every bit of 6 foot. all these ribs, spars, are all glued in. I didn't know I had any servos left. There's a servo. Now a servo is what makes your elevator, your rudder, your throttle, everything work. These plug in to a battery, and your receiver pack, and your receiver pack is like Bluetooth, okay, to your transmitter, the part that you hold in your hand and send the signals out. When you this servo apparently goes to my ailerons. So the button on the right hand side, you turn left or right, that makes this servo, there's a little wheel, I don't know if you can see it back in there, it turns, okay? And when it turns, this shaft goes, it hinges up here and makes this rod go in and out, and that in turn makes your aileron go up or down or stay straight. So these were not cheap years ago. I don't remember what I paid. I say I somehow got a hole punched in here. I can't imagine that. The plastic oil coolers, the white things I showed you, those go in here in the front. This is the front of the wing, and this is the top of the wing here. The top. So I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember what I paid for the model, and all you get is what's in that box, what I have built here, and the fuselage I showed you in the corner. That's not counting the engine, the servos, anything, the transmitter. But maybe one of these days I'll get this put back together. And then you have a Mylar film, comes in a roll almost like Christmas paper. You sand all this. See, I got some wood putty here. You sand all that smooth. You lay that Mylar paper down on there, and you trim it with scissors. And then you got a iron. Oh, it's got kind of a big teardrop head, shaped something like that. And you turn it on, and you stick that Mylar on there. And then if you try to keep it wrinkle free. You don't want any wrinkles in it, because wrinkles mean drag in flight. Stretch it as tight as you can. Do it on the back, and then you take a heat gun and heat it up, and it stretches her just banjo string tight on that wood. But these were a whole different breed of cat to fly. They were not easy to fly, and they were very expensive. It's not, back in the day there was no gyros to where you let go and it leveled itself out and what have you. There was none of that back in the day. And I'm saying over 25 years ago. So it was a real expensive hobby for beginners. And I don't know how many I've owned several planes. This Corsair it's the biggest I've ever had. So with that, I'm not going to bore you any much longer. This video is going to be like 30 minutes, and I'm sorry for that. But that's the old hobby that I used to have and really enjoy. It was an expensive hobby. After I had back surgery, it was too expensive, you know. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Give you a little shot of one wall in the gun room, or you know, the ones I used to have before the duck boat turned over in the river and they all fell in the water. So have a great day. Do something kind for your neighbors. Do something kind for a family member or a stranger. Be good to each other. Happy trails.